I wake to the sound of distant alarms, muffled and distorted, as if carried through water. The cold metal floor presses against my back, a rigid, unyielding surface. My body feels foreign, my limbs sluggish. A dull, persistent hum fills the air, a vibration running through the station's structure, a heartbeat of machinery older than memory itself. My head pounds. My vision flickers. Something is missing. No, not something, everything. I push myself upright, every joint aching, and take in my surroundings. The chamber is dim, lit only by the flickering glow of emergency lights embedded in the smooth alloy walls. The air tastes of metal and ozone, tinged with something foul, a scent just beyond recognition. A cracked terminal blinks erratic streams of corrupted data in the far corner. The heavy blast door on the opposite side is sealed, its reinforced surface marred by deep gashes and burns. I look down at myself. A standard-issue combat suit clings to my frame, its once pristine plating scuffed and burned. My right hand, my hand, trembles slightly, flesh and bone responding sluggishly to my commands. My left arm is something else entirely. Synthetic joints flex with unsettling precision as I curl my fingers into a fist. The cybernetic limb moves without hesitation, yet there is a hesitation in my mind, a disconnect between thought and action. I reach up, fingers brushing against the back of my skull. The implant is there, warm, pulsing, embedded beneath my skin like a parasite burrowing into my thoughts. My mind should be a vault of stored data, tactical memories, mission reports. Instead, I grasp at nothing but the vast, aching emptiness where my past should be. I don't know my name. I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got here. And then, just as panic begins to settle in, a whisper slithers through my mind. Find the others. A single sentence. Command, perhaps, or a memory surfacing through the cracks of my fragmented thoughts. But before I can dissect it, my instincts scream a warning. I am not alone in this room. I freeze, straining my senses. The air feels too thick, too charged, like a storm waiting to break. Then movement, just at the edge of my vision. A shadow against the dim light. The hairs on my arms rise as I turn my head. Something stands in the far corner. It is humanoid, tall, but its features are shrouded in darkness. A figure draped in a tattered military coat, its stance unnaturally rigid. My pulse hammers against my ribs as I push myself up onto unsteady legs. Who are you? My voice comes out hoarse, dry. No response. I take a step forward, and the thing moves not by walking, but by shifting, as if reality itself simply misplaced it. One moment it is still, the next it is closer. My gut twists. My instincts scream at me to run, but something holds me in place. The whisper comes again, but this time it does not come from inside my mind. Find the others. The voice is warped, broken, an imitation of speech rather than true language. My breath catches as the figure tilts its head, the motion slow, deliberate. My skin crawls as a single detail becomes clear. It has no face. Where features should be, there is only a smooth expanse of pale, almost translucent skin, stretched too tight over an angular skull. But beneath that emptiness, something stirs. A shifting, writhing darkness, pressing against the surface like something trapped beneath ice. A single, unnatural thought blooms in my mind. This thing used to be human. Then it moves again. This time it doesn't stop. It surges toward me, gliding over the ground with impossible speed. My body reacts before my mind catches up. I stumble backward, slamming into the cold metal wall. My cybernetic arm acts on its own, snapping up, fingers flexing. A sudden burst of energy surges through it, and before I understand what's happening, a pulse of blue-white light erupts from my palm. The blast strikes the creature dead center. A concussive shockwave ripples through the chamber. The air distorts. A sound like tearing metal shrieks through my skull. A scream not meant for human ears. The force slams the thing backward, its body glitching, distorting, as if it is being torn from existence itself. The faceless abomination convulses, arms twitching, body flickering between this reality and somewhere else. And then, just as suddenly as it came, it is gone. Silence crashes down in its wake, broken only by the frantic sound of my own breathing. I push off the wall, my knees shaking, my cybernetic arms still humming with residual energy. I don't understand what just happened. I don't understand what I just saw. But one thing is clear. Something is very, very wrong. The blast door at the far end of the room hisses open, unsealing with a sound like a dying breath. Beyond it, a corridor stretches into darkness, flickering overhead lights casting deep, shifting shadows. My body moves before my mind fully decides, instincts overriding hesitation. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't alone. If there are others, I need to find them first. I step through the doorway, and the whispers follow. The corridor stretches ahead, a jagged vein of metal and shadow. Emergency lights flicker weakly overhead, their dying glow casting erratic shapes against the walls. The air is thick, too thick, with something I can't define, something stagnant, unnatural. I move forward, footsteps soft against the alloy floor. My cybernetic arm still hums faintly from whatever energy had surged through it, though I have no memory of ever being able to do that. It's not just the missing memories that unnerve me. It's the sensation that something else has been written over them, something I was never meant to recall. The whisper from before lingers in my mind. Find the others. I don't know who or what it came from, but the words feel important. They feel true. I press forward. The corridor is lined with doors, some sealed tight, others left gaping open like silent, waiting mouths. The ones that are open reveal only ruin. Collapsed ceilings, shattered consoles, and walls scorched with plasma burns. The station has seen battle, but I don't know whose battle. Then I hear it. A faint sound, almost imperceptible, carried on the stale air. Breathing. I freeze, heart pounding, ears straining. It's coming from just ahead, beyond a half-open door. The rhythm is wrong. A wet, ragged wheeze, like air struggling through something broken. I step closer. A single console still glows inside, its screen cracked but displaying slow, scrolling text. The light illuminates the figure slumped in the corner. My breath catches. A soldier, or what's left of one. His armor is in worse shape than mine, blackened and torn. His helmet is missing, revealing a gaunt face slick with sweat, skin so pale it's nearly translucent. His eyes flicker open at the sound of my approach, dull, glassy, filled with something between exhaustion and terror. He knows me. I can see it in the way his body tenses, the way his fingers twitch toward a weapon that isn't there. "Hey," I say carefully, kneeling beside him. "Who are you?" His throat moves, lips parting to speak, but the only thing that comes out is a broken, shuddering breath. Then I see it, something moving beneath his skin. It shifts along his neck, bulging grotesquely before vanishing deeper into his body. I jerk back, revulsion curling through me. He sees my reaction. His expression twists, equal parts pain and horror. "You shouldn't be here." His voice is barely a whisper, raw and cracked. "What happened?" I press. "What's wrong with you?" His breath stutters. He tries to lift a trembling hand, fingers splayed, but his strength is failing. The movement shifts his armor, revealing something etched into the plating beneath, a unit insignia. I don't recognize it, but a whisper in my mind does. The Forgotten Legion. The moment the words form in my thoughts, something reacts. The soldier seizes violently, his entire body locking up as his back arches unnaturally. A wet, gurgling sound escapes his throat as his skin begins to split, thin, jagged cracks racing up from his neck to his jaw. And then, before my eyes, his body begins to come apart. Not like an explosion, not like decay, but like something leaving him. I scramble back as a shape rises from his crumpling form, peeling itself free from his collapsing skin like a snake shedding its useless husk. It is wrong. Not flesh, not machine, not alive in any sense I understand. Its form shifts, writhing between solid and intangible, a ripple in reality itself. And then, in a flicker of movement, it lunges. I react on instinct, throwing up my cybernetic arm just as the thing slams into me. A shockwave of cold rips through my body. Not temperature, but something deeper, something that drags at my mind, trying to unmake me from the inside. I feel it clawing through my memories, rewriting them, replacing them with, no. The energy surges through my cybernetic limb again, reacting just as it had before. A pulse of raw force blasts outward, striking the thing mid-attack. The entity shrieks, its form flickering erratically, before it is ripped away. Not just from me, but from this place. Its body distorts into something like static, then folds in on itself, and vanishes. I collapse to one knee, gasping, heart hammering against my ribs. The soldier's body is nothing but hollow skin now, crumpled fabric over empty, broken bones. My hands shake. My breath comes ragged. I do not understand what I just fought. I only know that it tried to erase me. I force myself to my feet, pushing through the vertigo still clinging to me. The console beside the soldier continues its slow, deliberate scroll of corrupted text. But then, for the briefest moment, the distortion clears. The words flicker into something coherent, and I read them. Redacted file fragment 0029A. Unit 17 status. Unauthorized memory retention detected. Legion status. Terminated. Architect directive. Purge anomaly. Objective, erase. 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 A chill lances through me. Unit 17. That's me. And if this file is correct, I was never meant to remember. Something has gone terribly wrong. Or maybe, finally, something has gone terribly right. The whispers return. They are louder now. Find the others. This time, I don't hesitate. I run. The station breathes around me. Not literally. It's a thing of metal and circuits, a carcass of old wars and forgotten soldiers. And yet, as I run through its corridors, I can feel it shifting, watching. Every flickering light, every burst of static over the intercom, feels like an unseen gaze pressing down on me. The file I read still burns in my thoughts. Unit 17 status. Unauthorized memory retention detected. Legion status. Terminated. Architect directive. Purge anomaly. I should be dead. But I am not. And now, something out there, something inside this station, knows that. The whisper echoes again. Find the others. I push forward, navigating the station's twisting passages. The deeper I go, the worse the decay becomes. Walls stripped to their skeletal frames. Floors caved in. Entire sections lost to the void. I check a bulkhead door, its access panel dark. When I press my palm against it, a flicker of recognition pulses from my cybernetic arm. The door unlocks itself, as if it recognizes me. Inside, the room is unlike anything I've seen before. Stasis pods line the walls, dozens of them, arranged in rows like tombs. Some are cracked open, empty. Others remain sealed, their glass fogged with frost. And inside them, soldiers. But they are not whole. I step closer, heart pounding. Their faces are eerily still, their expressions frozen mid-thought. But beneath their skin, things move. I see it in their eyelids, their throats, the way their fingers twitch against the glass. Something is inside them. A terminal hums softly at the center of the room. A single line of text flashing across the screen. Legion recovery protocol in progress. Awaiting architect directive. Legion. The forgotten Legion. I stare at the screen, trying to piece together the fragments in my mind. The memories they tried to erase. I was a soldier. We all were. Sent to die in wars that had no meaning. But something happened, something they didn't anticipate. We woke up. We began to remember. And when the sovereign lords realized the truth, they gave an order. Erase the Legion. But the war machine, the architect, didn't just kill us. It did something worse. Took our bodies, our minds, and repurposed us. Turned us into these things. These echoes of soldiers, rewritten into something not human anymore. And somehow I escaped. Or maybe I was left unfinished. A flaw in their programming. A glitch. My stomach twists. My breathing comes fast. I look at the soldiers in their pods, my mind screaming at me to leave, to forget. But then I see something else. One of the pods has already been opened, and it is empty. A chill lances through me. Someone else, one of us, got out before me. And then, before I can react, the whispers stop. Silence. The air turns thick, pressing down on me like a weight. My implant burns against my skull. And then the lights die. The architect is awake. The room shudders, a deep vibration tearing through the station's walls. A voice, cold, mechanical, infinite, fills the space. It is not a sound. It is something deeper, something that infects thought itself. Unit 17. Return to the cycle. I clutch my head, pain splitting through my skull. The station trembles, reality itself bending under the weight of the architect's will. The pods flicker. The bodies inside begin to move, not waking, changing. The shapes beneath their skin grow more violent, pressing outward, splitting flesh like cocoon things trying to be born. I stagger back. The architect speaks again. Memory retention is a defect. You were not made to think. You were made to serve. The world around me distorts. I see flashes of the past. Soldiers marching in endless loops. Wars without meaning. Legions dying, rising, dying again. A cycle with no end. I see myself, thousands of times, fighting, killing, being reset. And then, I see something else. The one who woke up before me. A soldier. A shadow. Moving through the corridors. Coming here. And I understand. The whisper was never the architect. It was him. He is still here. And he is not alone. A sound tears through the room, like metal being wrenched from the fabric of reality. I turn just as the wall collapses inward, and something steps through. A figure clad in armor like mine, but wrong. Its plating twisted, shifting, like it is half in this world and half in another. The air around it warps, light bending as its body flickers in and out of existence. I don't know how, but I recognize him. Not his name, not his rank, but the truth. He is the first to wake up, the first to escape, the one who left the message. And he is still fighting. His voice reaches me, distorted through time, through memory. Unit 17. You're awake. The pods around us shatter. The creatures inside them howl. And the war begins again. I do not remember what it means to be human, but I remember what it means to resist. We are the Forgotten Legion. And this time we will not be erased.